So I had an anxiety episode the last few nights, and it was incredibly painful. Um, I, barely slept for like 3 nights, and when you're like that sleep deprived and just like in fight or flight mode, um, shit gets real, and you can start going to a really like dark place. And it had to be like on a moment by moment basis where I would just have to literally like shift my thoughts because they were so anxiety producing that it was just this insufferable state that I was in. And it was so incredibly painful. Don't think I would wish it on anyone. And yet I am so happy that that happened. For a few reasons. Um, the first being, it really demonstrated to me in real time, in application, how much our thoughts affect our emotions and our states of being. And being in that desperate place where I just had to shift my thoughts for my own personal sanity and health. And I mean, nothing could really drive that point home as much as that did. The second being, it made me understand the very, very necessity that I start meditating and learning the how to think and see a thought, have it pass me by, acknowledge it, and move on, and realize that that's not me and that I don't have to think that. It's just a thought. It's not who I am. And then thirdly, getting me to a place where I am desperate for change. And that's what it took when I was in a really bad place a few years ago and bussing tables at P.F. Chang's, going nowhere. And I knew that I was a common denominator in a bunch of failed jobs previously. And it took me journaling every single day with the prompt, how did you progress today? In order to dig me out of that hole. Otherwise, I never would have. And this experience, as much as it felt like such a rock bottom moment, and I wish that it didn't get so bad that I, had to call out of work on Friday and just be in such a chaotic, miserable state for days on end. This is what I needed. This is the wake-up call, that I don't have to settle for a life where I am limited by my beliefs, that I can live beyond that I can create new beliefs, and that I create my destiny. And I'm just so full of gratitude, and not even hope. Like, it goes beyond hope. It's like knowing. I know that there's a light at the end of the tunnel, and I hadn't felt that for so long. I had just lived with my bodily pain. I lived with my limiting beliefs. I lived with, going about my day in a state where I was essentially asleep, just really disengaged, disconnected, apathetic, unenthused, just separate from all that is. And I'm really thankful in stumbling upon David Bayer and his Mind Hack program, because I know that it will change my life forevermore. And being in such a desperate place, again, I just know that this is the kick in the ass I needed in order to not settle with living a life less than what I'm capable of. I'm capable of so much, so fucking much. And I'm really excited to see what happens, because I just know that that I have a whole future in store for me, and that I no longer have to settle for my old broken belief system, that it is within my power beyond measure, that I create a new one. So stay tuned.